Hello and welcome to the WeHQ Online Academy. My name is Chris and I'll be your tutor for today. In our previous video, we looked at questions 26 through 30, and in this video, we'll look at questions 31 to 35. This is the Cambridge As Biology Paper 1-1, Winter 2019. The course code is 9700. Question 31, which plan diagram represents the tissues in a major vein? Okay, now a vein, you must remember, has three main structures similar to the artery. Okay, so we're going to label one of these pictures to figure out which one is our major vein. Okay, so let's pick B. B looks like the best representation of an artery. Okay, this is because an artery has a thick elastic fiber layer, so a thick wall of elastic fibers. You also have a thick muscle. Okay, a muscle layer. Okay, and you have your endothelium here. So this is your inner layer, endothelium. There we go. And it has a small lumen, okay, which is here. So B represents the most typical of what you would expect an artery to look like, okay? However, B, we're not asking for an artery, we're asking for a vein. Option A has a very thick layer of muscle and a thin outer layer of elastic fibers and a small lumen. So this is definitely inaccurate. The vein does not contain a thick layer of muscle, so option A is incorrect. Option C is also incorrect because although it has a larger lumen and it has an endothelium, it has a muscle layer, but it doesn't contain any elastic fibers. So without any elastic fibers present, option C is incorrect. Option D has it all. It has the larger lumen, it has the same three structures, the endothelium, the muscle, and it also has the thin layer of elastic fibers as well. So option D is the best representation of a major vein in this example. Question 32, ventricular septal defect, VSD, is a heart defect that people can have from birth. People with VSD have a hole in the wall of the septum that separates the left and right ventricles. What could happen with a person with VSD? Okay, so here we have blood will leak through the hole mostly from right to left. Okay, well that's not true. Okay. If anything, what would happen is that the left ventricle is bigger, it contains more blood per volume, and there's more muscle. So during each ventricular contraction, the blood will be forced from the left to the right ventricle. Okay, so if more blood is from the left is forced to the right ventricle, this would increase the volume of blood in the right ventricle than normally would be. This means that there's going to be more blood flowing to the lungs, which means that gives statement number 2, meaning it's true. Less oxygen will be delivered to the body tissues. Well, that's also true because oxygenated blood returning from the lungs in the left atrium to left ventricle, when it contracts, could be forced into the right ventricle and go back to the lungs. So effectively, you're sending oxygenated blood, or at least a higher concentration of it, back to the lungs that would normally go that way. So option 3 is also correct. So this eliminates option A, B, C, leaving you with option D, which is the correct one. Option 2 and 3 are the correct answers. Question 33, the diagram shows pressure changes in some structures of the right side of the heart during the cardiac cycle. Okay, this is interesting because normally you get given a picture of the left one. The right side is probably designed to trick you, but it's exactly the same type of diagram. Okay, this little dotted line represents the ventricular pressure. Okay. And this little dotted line here represents the atrium pressure. Okay, or atrial pressure, should I say. Now, what X actually represents is the pressure in the blood vessel that the blood is coming out of. Okay, so this is the pulmonary artery. Okay, so as you can see, when the ventricular pressure increases, so does the pressure in the pulmonary artery. It goes up and then it decreases. But the pulmonary artery pressure doesn't return to 0, okay, unlike the ventricular pressure, which must go down to refill with blood before then going up again during a ventricular contraction, pushing the blood out of the pulmonary artery. So the only option here is A. A is the pulmonary artery. It's nothing to do with the vena cava as blood's not coming out. The ventricular pressure is the top dotted line. We talked about that, and the atrium is the lower valued dotted line as well. Okay. Question 34. The diagram shows a section through the type of epithelium. Where is this type of epithelium found in the respiratory system? Okay. So obviously this looks like a goblet cell, that's a mucus secreting cell, and then you've got your ciliated epithelial cells here. Now, these are located in the trachea and the bronchus. The bronchioles don't have these structures because they're already quite small and narrow, so that you don't want them clogged up with mucus. Okay. Now, as a result, we can use this to eliminate the answers. So in the trachea, yes, they are found. Okay, so option D is eliminated because they've said no. In the bronchus, well, yes, they are in the bronchus, so we can eliminate option C. Are they in the bronchioles? No. Okay, so we can eliminate option A because option B goes yes, yes, and no, which is exactly what we said at the start of the question, which is perfect. Question 35. In chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, airflow through the airways is reduced. Okay, well, the main understanding of this question comes from understanding what are these diseases. Now, this is a big word. You may have forgotten what the examples here, but it contains two types of diseases. You have bronchitis, or chronic bronchitis is included as a COPD, and you've also got emphysema. Okay, these are both diseases and conditions you remember from smoking. Okay, so an effect of bronchitis is that there is more mucus secreted into the airways. Well, that's true. This would restrict airflow going down into the airways itself. Now, emphysema, what happens is that the phagocytes will go in and out of the alveolar sacs due to more burnt fragments or other kind of obstructions getting into your alveoli itself. And as it keeps going in and out, it digests its way in, and as a result, the alveoli will lose their elasticity. Okay, so option 2 is also correct. Many alveoli are destroyed. Well, yes, many alveoli are destroyed and reducing their surface area, so there's less airway going in there as well. Okay, so option 3 is also correct. Carbon monoxide binds irreversibly to hemoglobin. Well, option 4, if somebody smokes, then yes, carbon monoxide would be, but it's talking about the reduced airflow, okay? And carbon monoxide is in the bloodstream itself. It's not relating to the actual blood flow in any context. So option 4 is not relevant here, okay? So this leaves you with option B being correct. Anything with number 4 in is eliminated, which clearly gives you 1, 2, and 3, option B. Thank you for watching our video. Please register on the website for a free demo, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.